Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we'll be looking at some of the Git terminologies. So let's have a look at some of the common Git glossary. The first I want to look at is snapshots. What are snapshots? Snapshot basically is a record of all your files, the way they look at a given point in time. So you can take a snapshot, that is, you can capture how all your files or certain files look at a given point in time. The process of capturing that is known as a snapshot. A snapshot basically is a way that Git keeps track of your code in the history. Any history of your code, that's how Git keeps a record of it. So you can decide when to take a snapshot and what files to take snapshot of. Also, you can also refer to all the snapshots you have taken. The next word we want to look at is commit. Commit basically is the act of creating a snapshot. You can refer to this as a noun or a verb. For example, you could say I committed code, or I just made a new commit. Most projects in Git are made up of a bunch or a collection of commits. Another word we want to look at, which is related to the commit word, is the parent. So this is also known as the parent commit. And what it is a reference to the commit that came before the current commit. That means it refers to the predecessor that happened before the current one. The next word we're going to look at is repositories, also called repo for short. Basically, a repository is a collection of all the files and the history of those files. So this consists of all your commits, place where all your hard work has been stored. So anything that you've collectively stored is known as a repository. Just a quick note on repositories. Repositories can live, or you can have your repositories on your own local machine or stored on a remote server in GitHub. So you can either store it locally or push it out to GitHub. So, okay. Another word we want to look at is cloning. What is cloning? Basically, this is related to repository. So when you mention the word cloning, or when you hear or see the word cloning, basically what it is the act or the process of copying a repository from a remote server. For example, if I'm copying something from GitHub, that is known as cloning. Cloning is very important because it allows collaboration between teams. The next word we want to look at is pulling. Pulling basically is a process of downloading the commits that you have made that don't exist on your machine. So you are downloading the commits from a remote machine or a remote repository. So that process is called pulling because you're getting it or fetching it from a remote computer. The next word we want to look at is pushing. Pushing basically is almost like the opposite of pulling. So with pushing, you are adding files from your own local computer and pushing it to a remote repository. The next word we want to look at is called branches. So basically, a branch is an active line of development. So the most recent commit on a branch is referred to as the tip of the branch. So the tip of the branch also is known as a branch head. And what happens with the branch head, it moves forward as additional development is done on that branch. So all the commits that is done in Git must live inside a branch. So there can be many branches, but the main branch in a project is called the master branch. The next word we want to look at is octopus. This is not the octopus as you know it. What octopus mean in Git is when you merge more than two branches together. It's known as an octopus. The next word is master. Master basically is the default development branch. So whenever you create a Git repository, a branch is named master. All right, so the master is created and becomes the active branch. The next word we want to look at is the head. The head basically is a reference to the most recent commit. The next word is a merge. A merge basically is when you bring two or more branches together. The next word is a working directory. A working directory basically is your local computer where you are currently working. The next word we're going to look at is index or staging. So you can either call it index or staging. This is when a file is ready to be put in a commit. So you add it onto the index or staging. Staging usually is more popularly used rather than index. In order to add a file to the staging area, you need to use the command. You need to use the git add command. So the git add command is used to put files onto the staging environment, while the git commit command is used to create a new commit. The next word I want to look at is the evil merge. Evil merge basically is a merge that introduces changes that do not appear in any parent. And finally, we have a word called dirty. Dirty basically refers to a working tree or directory that contains modification which have not been committed to the current branch. So a modification that has not been committed to the current branch is referred to as dirty, and the opposite is true. When it's been committed, it becomes clean. For a complete glossary of the Git terms, you can refer to the link here, which is on the Git website, for a more detailed and elaborate list of glossary. Thank you so much for your time, and bye for now.